Welcome to the YouTube channel from Stazza's stable, the Stable Master's Last Race. My name is John Starrett, aka the world famous Stable Master. Many of you would know me from my podcast, The Stable Master Speaks. I'm an Olympic running coach. I've been coaching beginners to elites for over 40 years. However, this YouTube channel is not about that. It's about my journey from an 82 kilo, 30 a day smoking, drinking every day, not doing any exercise for the last 5 or 6 years, over the next 2 years in Seville 2028 to break the world best time for a 63-year-old for a marathon, which is 2:30 and 48 seconds, held by Tommy Hughes. Very similar experience to me, too much drinking, got sober, and then got stuck in his 60s and late 50s to back into the running. However, the difference is he was an Olympian and I definitely wasn't. So that's what the channel's about. Thanks so far for all of the support. Now, as you all know, if you like, share and subscribe, you'll get our newsletter once a month. And in the newsletter, there'll be loads of top tips about training and nutrition and strength and conditioning. On top of that, you'll get a more detailed insight into my journey, including my novella, which is called Zeus Spoke, I Listened, The Wine and the Water, or The Water and the Wine, I can't remember the title of it. Now, originally, when I started this, I wrote it as a piece of fact fiction, and what that means is a mixture of fact and fiction, the fiction being what's going to happen between now and when I race in Seville. However, what I'm doing instead, I've done the first 2 chapters, and it's actually going to be 2 chapters every month live. So what I'll do is see how this month goes, write the 2 chapters, and then you'll get them updated in your inbox if you're a subscriber. Now, just to give you a little bit of background information on it, it's written in the style of Cormac McCarthy, my favourite author. It's a bit of a pastiche. So Cormac McCarthy died 2 years ago. He's the narrator, and it's what you call a framework story, a little bit like Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, where you have somebody narrating, and inside that there's another story. But mine has 3 frameworks. We've got Cormac McCarthy narrating the story, then inside that there's the framework of what's actually happened in my life, and then within that frame you've also got me learning to write like Cormac McCarthy. So it's pretty interesting, so I think you'll enjoy it. So far the feedback's been great, where I've just tested it on a few stablemates. Anyway, so we do 2 of these a week. The weekend one, which I'm doing now, is a little bit of an update on the facts and figures and what's actually happened training wise, and then the midweek one's a little bit of a laugh. It shows what's happening in Thailand, because a lot of people are interested in what we do here, how we live, me, my brother Phil, my girlfriend Nutch, and Phil's girlfriend Benny, and Nutch's 2 children, who are actually here on their summer holidays for 2 months. So we've had good fun last week, so make sure you watch in for the midweek session as well. We did the weigh-in just a minute ago, and definitely worth watching. Not giving too much away, but definitely worth watching. And you'll note as well that Phil's kept away from me after pushing me in the pool last week. So what's happened this week? Well, it's been an interesting week. I managed to get out every day and do 40 minutes-ish walking. Again, it's too soon for me to start running. On the drink, still off the drink. On the nutrition, 2 days of intermittent fasting. And then the other days I've been having my BAM bars, which I'll give you the recipe for in the newsletter. And then in the evening it's Nutch's healthy cooking, so you know I'm managing that quite well. That's not too difficult. Stopping the drinking's actually been far easier than I thought. The training, a little bit difficult. Even just the walking, I'm finding my legs are a little bit tired. That might be because I'm trying to drop a little bit of weight and I'm increasing my daily activity. But then also on top of that, with the training, what I did this week, what day is it today? So this is Sunday, so I think it was on Thursday I tried running. I did 5 times 200 meters, just at what was meant to be like an easy pace. I just wanted to test to see if I still had my running stride or if I had the old man shuffle. The good news is the stride is still there, and that's why I'm confident I can break Hughes' record in a couple of years' time. The bad news is after those 5 times 200 meters with a 200 meter walk recovery, my legs are still sore 2 days later. I'm feeling my age, so that's something I'm going to have to be cognizant of moving forward. Is it's not going to be as easy as I thought. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but it's probably going to be a little bit more challenging, and I've got to be careful. Some context on those 200 meters, they ranged in pace from a 7-minute mile in to 8:30, which is 5:30, 6:30, is 3 minutes slower than marathon pace, or nearly 3 minutes slower than marathon pace, and I can't even run at that for 200 meters at the moment. But I'm confident, and the reason why I'm confident is I'm going to be using my system. We're not going to be using zone training, heart rate training, VO2 max training, threshold training, double Norwegians, and all of that malarkey. It's going to be the Stazza stable method. So I'm basically getting my musculoskeletal system in a position so that it's going to be ready to run, which it isn't at the moment, but we'll see what happens next week. I might try a few runs next week a little bit slower and then start progressing it out from there. But I want to get up to 65 minutes easy and 90 minutes for the long run. Then I'll go on to the pre-super base, the super base, and an extended marathon bridge, and then the specific marathon training 11-12 weeks before Seville. So that's the plan. The week ahead, what I'm looking at is I actually walked today for 50 minutes, which is the longest walk that I've done. If the legs are okay tomorrow, I might try a little bit of a run walk, or maybe I'll probably just be sensible and just walk 50 minutes. Now, Nutch won't be joining me tomorrow morning. She's got to go to the hospital early, but she'll be back out with me on Tuesday. So probably what I'll do is I'll wait till Tuesday before I try to do the run walk, and we'll see how that goes. Depending on how that goes will dictate how I progress. Really what I want to be doing is by the end of this month be up to so that I can do 20 times 1 minute, sort of running easy and walking easy, and then from there I'll start to develop that and get into full-on runs. I think it's probably going to take about 10 weeks before I'm running properly without the walking, but we'll see as it goes along. Nutrition wise this week, my plan is to follow similar to what I did this week: no drinking, 2 intermittent fasting days. Basically I'll have my dinner say at 6 p.m. in the evening, then I won't eat again until 6 p.m. the following evening. I'm not following it strictly because with the proper intermittent fasting you're not meant to have milk in your coffee, but I can't do that, so that's my one luxury. But I won't eat in those sort of 24 hours, and hopefully that does a job. Again, I've got to be careful because I'm upping everything each week, so I've got to balance that out, but we'll see how the intermittent fasting goes next week. I wouldn't recommend other people do it unless you're following it strictly and properly. It's just something that I want to do just to, in the early weeks, to shed a little bit of weight and get everything rolling and build up the confidence. So just peeling that back then into like what you get for this. So in the newsletter that we're going to fire out, you'll be getting the Stable Masters running armor. It's a little 15-minute strength and conditioning workout that you can do on your easy days or on your rest days as well. It targets everywhere from your feet up to your hips. Only, like I said, it only takes 15 minutes, a 2-minute warm-up, 11-minute little workout, and a 2-minute cool down. You'll also get the first 2 chapters of Zeus Spoke, I Listened, Turning Wine into Water. I think that's the title. I can't even remember it, so but there you go. The other thing you'll notice from what I'm saying now, this is not scripted. It's like the podcast, nothing's scripted. It's just a monologue, me rattling on, telling the truth about things, and any mistakes stay in for your amusement and my embarrassment, just like the podcast. If you're not familiar with the podcast, it's called The Stable Master Speaks. It's a globally chart-topping podcast as well. It is actually coming out weekly now, so I give lots of training tips on there, and I also do case studies. This week's podcast, I had an interview with somebody whom I coach, who's also done my online certified run coaching course, Juiced, and he interviewed me for it. So there's a lot of information in there about my methodology. So we covered the foundation, the pre-super base and the super base. We didn't have time to get into the bridge training and the marathon specific, but he's going to interview me again about that, and then we'll cover that there. I was going to do a podcast this week about Matthew Retter and also Scott Moore. Both have made huge improvements, but I'll save those for the following week. Anyway, I suppose that's a wrap for this week. Anything that you need, just give me a shout. And remember, like, share, subscribe. All right.